Hey, what's up, though, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Talk. I am your host, Mr. LG, and I'm thrilled that you're tuning in today. If this is your first time here, be sure to smash that subscribe and like button as we aim for our goal of 47 subscribers. Every single one of you matters. Now, before we dive into today's main topic, let me give you the lowdown on some other stories making waves across the globe. In entertainment news, we're in day 2 of ASAP Rocky's trial. It's really heating up. The victim, ASAP Rocky, took the stand. And you know how courtroom dramas can get. They're always filled with unexpected twists. Switching gears to politics, President Trump's nominees are under the spotlight this week. It's a make or break moment for 3 of them as they face crucial questioning from the Senate. This could change the political landscape, so let's keep an eye on how things unfold. Looking at sports, mark your calendars because the NFL Pro Bowl weekend kicks off January the 30th. Big congrats to all the players who have been selected to showcase their skills. For true fans, it's always a joy to see your favorite athletes get recognized. In finance, there's a significant shakeup happening in the tech world, particularly thanks to a company from China called DeepSeek. They've launched an AI app that has sent shockwaves through major players like Meta and Nvidia. As someone who currently owns stock in Nvidia, I can tell you this has created quite a buzz. While there was a sell-off in the market, I'm holding my ground and planning to stay invested long term. I'll keep you all updated as I work on rebuilding my portfolio amidst this turbulence. All right, now on to the main discussion for this episode. Trump's intensifying crackdown on immigration policies. So let's set the stage here. Under Trump's administration, immigration has always been a hot button issue, and it seems we're ramping up again. This new wave of crackdown isn't just about borders and walls, it's a multifaceted approach that affects numerous communities across the nation. Firstly, we're seeing stricter enforcement on immigration laws. This includes an increase in raids and deportations, which have caused fear among many immigrant communities. Reports indicate that families are separating and individuals are being apprehended for minor offenses, all under the guise of enforcing existing regulations. It's a tense time for many who are simply trying to make a better life for themselves and their families. Moreover, Trump's administration is focusing on tightening asylum rules. There's a push to limit who qualifies for asylum status, making it much harder for those fleeing violence, persecution, or dire economic situations to find refuge here in the United States. While the argument often revolves around national security, we must also consider the humanitarian aspect. How do we balance keeping our borders safe while still extending compassion to those in dire need? Another key element of this crackdown is the proposed changes to the legal immigration process. There's been talk of reducing the number of visas issued, particularly for work-related categories. This shift could have a profound impact on industries that rely heavily on immigrant labor, from tech companies to agriculture. If changes go through, we might start seeing shortages that could affect productivity and profits in various sectors. Now, let's not forget about the recent discussion surrounding the DACA program, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. Despite significant pushback from various advocacy groups and legal challenges, the future of these young immigrants remains uncertain. Many DACA recipients, known as dreamers, have built their lives here, contributing to society in countless ways, yet they live in a constant state of worry about their status. The emotional toll this takes can be understated. Public sentiment on these issues equally divided, but there are notable supporters for more stringent immigration policies who argue for law and order. There's also a strong counter-argument advocating for reform and a more humane approach. Conversations about immigration tend to elicit passionate responses from both sides, highlighting how deeply personal and impactful these policies are. So as we navigate through the evolving situation, what can we do? First, it's crucial to stay informed, understanding the implications of policy changes, on real people should guide our opinions. Secondly, advocacy play a vital role. Engaging with local representatives, participating in peaceful protests, or even volunteering for organizations that support immigrants can help amplify voices that often go unheard. Now, I'm all for immigration crackdown if it's done in a humane way. I do believe that because there's so much immigration, it's sort of taken away for the people that's documented here and went through the proper process to become a citizen here. I believe it's due process, and you do have to go through that to become a citizen here, to be a law-abiding citizen. And yes, you may have the criminal element blended in with these immigrants that come over into this country. So far, we know that under Trump's administration, the Homeland Security will be heavily involved in this process. Taking place like New York City, they have joined ICE to have immigration crackdowns. And they're arresting people out there for small offenses, but that's just enough. Those small offenses can be turned into big offenses. I look at this headline right here, where it says the top Homeland Security official joined the officers as they carried out an immigration arrest in New York City on Tuesday. The latest effort to promote Trump's nationwide crackdown as enforcement has intensified in recent days. You know, a lot of immigrants was paranoid about that the last time around when Trump was president. I don't think it was a major crackdown. It was some issues and some controversy how he was handling the border at that particular time. And this is just one of his promises and his policies. He promised that while he was out there campaigning, and what he's relating to his following is that he following through on his policy. This is what he promised. And you know how we all look at politicians, they make all these promises, and then when they get in office, knowing how the presidency works, there's some things he can do with an executive order, but other things he got to get approval from the Senate. It has to be voted on. So he don't have the power to do many things. And I heard a conversation on the radio just today where a caller called in and said, is it somebody that can stop Trump? Well, it's some privileges he do got as the president. He have an executive order over certain things. And the other things, they have to go through the House or the Senate. And they have to vote on these things. And that's why it's so important that he tried to get his party lined up, because the more votes coming from your party, you can win some of these laws and legislation that's coming through, which he have to sign off on. So that's why it's important that he always keep his party strong and together. We already know the Democrats are totally against his policies, and they're going to fight every power. They'll use every power they can to try to stop it. And that's just how politics go. Some things he will have, they can reach across the aisle and he can agree with some Democrats. But most of they're going to slam it, they're going to go against it. So he need more votes from his Republican buddies. And they picking immigrants up by the busloads. They arresting almost up to 1,000 people in one day. Here we go in Chicago. Immigration authorities made close to 1,200 arrests in just one day. And nearly half of those detained don't have criminal records, according to senior Trump administration official. These are undocumented immigrants. 1,700 in New York City in one day. And you can expect this to happen all across the nation. They shipping these people back over there. So if I was you all, I'd be aware. That's a wrap on today's discussion, folks. Stay tuned for more episodes as we track these developments. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on Trump's immigration policies. What do you think? Are we heading in the right direction, or do we need to rethink our strategies? Hit me up in the comments or send me a message. Remember to subscribe and like the podcast if you enjoyed this episode. Until next time, I'm Mr. LG, signing off.